Hey guys, it's another junk journal flip through. Sorry for all the bobbing. This tripod's actually, I'm kind of eating my own words now, but um, as much as it drives me nuts how wobbly it is, it's actually kind of nice that I can get high enough to get my whole junk journal in, and I don't have to fight with that. Okay. Okay. So, uh, the next movie was The Secret Dare to Dream. Came out in 2020. Zero eye roll, zero cringe face. Um, it was an okay movie. It kind of felt Hallmark-esque. It was kind of like the movie Safe Haven. Um, yeah, Safe Haven, or is it just Haven? No, it's Safe Haven. It's the show that's called Haven. The movie Safe Haven. It was kind of like that. Um, it was a decent movie. It's not one I'm gonna go to and watch again. Um, but yeah, it was a decent. I didn't hate it. I didn't fall in love with it. So yeah, watch it if you want to. I mean, there's not a super great plot to it. It's kind of a movie that tells a story that doesn't really tell much of a story. So, it certainly wasn't bad. It just wasn't. Did not rock my world. The next movie was Iron Man. Came out in 2008. Zero cringe face, zero eye roll. I found that I like the origin movies for the Marvel and the DC, um, franchises a lot better than I do like the Avenger movies. Because there's so. This is what frustrates me about DC comic movies and Marvel movies is that there's so many offshoots. And unless you're like a diehard fan, who watches them immediately as soon as they come out and they're up to date with what's coming out and blah blah blah, you know, um, a lot of it gets lost. Like when I watched the Avengers movies, a lot of it got lost because I have not seen all of the offshoots for all of the other characters, for all the characters. So, um, I definitely like the origin movies better. Where it's basically showing you where they've come from. That just one particular character where they've come from. I like this movie. It was kept me intrigued. It did not involve um, living on a volcanic island, being trained by ninjas. So that was very much appreciated. There's something about that just immediately turns me off of these movies. Um, yeah, it was good. I don't remember where I bought it. Probably the thrift store, but I'm keeping it. So yeah. Plus, I love Robert Downey Jr., so I'm a little bit biased there, I'll admit. The next movie was Waterworld. Came out in 1995. I saw this movie when I was a kid. Um, and there was only a couple scenes that I really remembered. One of them was when the woman, I forget what her name is, um, saves Kevin Costner from the cage and he's being drowned in like the decomposed bodies that they're trying to turn into dirt. I remembered that scene, and I also remembered the scene where Kevin Costner's character um, grabs the woman and the girl and cuts off all their hair on his boat. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna watch it again. We used to have the movie when I was a kid, and I used to live, at our old house. But I'm pretty sure my dad took it when he moved out. Um, so, anyways, I decided to watch it again. I am obsessed with this movie. I watch it a lot now. It's aquatic themed, which I love. Uh, Magic, I mean, a fish slash human. I guess that delves a little bit into magic, but it's not, it's not absurd. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, I love this movie. I'm keeping it. Um, the videography is fucking stunning in this movie. So it was very well made. It's a very simple story, but it is very well made. And it kind of makes you think about what we're doing to the environment even more, which is powerful. It's definitely a movie that has survived the decades, and I think will be a pretty permanent fixture in the future as far as good movies to watch. So, it's an old movie, but it still holds water. No pun intended. The next movie was, I put before the others, but it's before all others. Came out in 2016. Zero cringe face. 7 eye roll. I knew this movie was gonna be cringe. I know I don't have any cringe tallies, but I knew this movie was gonna be cringe by the trailer. Sometimes I still like to take a chance on it because I'm curious. I'm curious, you know, about movies that, are maybe set in a religion, because I am not religious. And so, I'm very religious curious. I like to learn about different religions. Um, but this movie pissed me off. It's very rare I leave a movie angry. This movie left me angry. And not only was it just a shit movie because, the writing was shit, the acting was super shit, the videography was shit, the audio was shit. Like, everything about this movie. I hate shitting on low budget films because there's some really great low budget films out there. But if this was like, an example for a low budget film, this would definitely be it. But what made me so angry was it starred this woman who fell ill, and basically had a temporary paralysis, and she didn't have any family left besides her grandmother, who she hadn't seen in a long time. And so she calls up her grandmother and she asks for her help, so that she didn't have to be sent to an adult care facility. And her mother comes out and takes her home with her, and that's nice, right? But then the daughter asks, "Grandma, why did you disown Mom?" And the grandmother says, "Well, your mother got pregnant with you, and your your grandfather and I told her she needed to marry the man, that fathered you, and she refused because she didn't love your father, and your father didn't treat her so great. But because she didn't marry your father, we had no choice but to disown her. You know, how can you just disown your daughter because she didn't want to marry someone who didn't treat her right and who she didn't want to, or and who wouldn't make her happy? You just threw her out like trash. And so yeah, this movie, it made me very angry. Um, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I would not recommend watching it. Um, all I can say is, have love. I don't, I'm tired of people treating other people like shit because they don't think exactly the way you think. Uh, Next movie was Hotel for the Holidays. Zero cringe face, one eye roll. I believe this is a Hallmark movie. If it's not, um, it probably should be a Hallmark movie. Did I say 2022? Yeah, okay. Um, it was very cheeseball. I kind of liked it. I would watch it if I or put it on again if I wanted some background movie sounds. If I didn't want to like sit and just watch a movie. I just wanted it going on in the background. Sure, I would put this on again. It was very regurgitated, but that is the Hallmark motto: we regurgitate movies. Would I recommend watching it? If you love Hallmark, yes. If you don't love Hallmark, don't watch it. Don't waste your time. And then the last movie was in this envelope was Batman Begins. Came out in 2005. One Eye Roll, Zero Cringe Face. So this was obviously an origin movie. I got it at the thrift store. I like this movie, with the exception of the part where he hikes up a mountain and trains to become a ninja. So once we get past the whole ninja training part, I like the movie. Um, but Liam Neeson, even though I really like him as an actor, he did not redeem the movie because of the fact that he was a ninja. I'm just so sick of ninjas. I mean, it's one thing if it's a movie about ninjas. Great. But, you know, I don't know why it always has to go. It's usually on an island. This time it was just up a mountain. It improved in that one little fact that the mountain wasn't on an island. But it usually involves a volcanic island and then secret ninja training. It just turns me off. I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way so bad. Would I recommend watching it? Yeah. I mean, especially if the whole ninja training um, doesn't make you roll your eyes very loudly. I know that didn't make sense, but I'll forgive the movie for the secret ninja training base camp in the mountains. So I mean the dialogue was a little corny. It was, but it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst, and I'll probably keep it. I'm still a little bit on the fence about keeping it, but I'll keep it a little while longer. And then this envelope was made by Pam. I was writing notes about different types of apples I was eating at my last job to take my mind off of how depressed I was. And I had tried an autumn apple. I said it was sweet but the skin was a little tough. And then I tried a sugar bee apple, very sweet, but the skin was very tough. And I noticed that it had a texture of a pear apple or an Asian pear. Is that what it's called? Are pear apples also called Asian pears? Alright, I'm going to get through these movies and then I'll stop the video. Next movie was Cyrano. Came out in 2022. Zero cringe face, zero eye roll. I like this movie. I've always been a big fan of Peter Dinklage. Yeah. Would I watch this movie? recommend watching? Absolutely. It's a little sad. It's a little sad. I'll say that, but um, it was a good movie and it was entertaining. Um, Next movie was Robin Hood. Came out in 2010. Zero cringe face, zero eye roll. What's this? Yes, okay. So this Robin Hood, there's a lot of Robin Hoods here. This Robin Hood was the Russell Crowe one. This is one of my favorite movies now. I mean, I love Robin Hood to begin with. Why do I feel like I've reviewed this movie before? Hmm. Um, Fight scenes were excellent. The romance part of this movie was excellent because it did a good job of letting you know what was happening without having to show what was happening. You know, I love romance movies that have excellent contextual clues so that you're not actually watching the romance part, because then it just gets raunchy. You know, I'm not afraid of nakedness, but you know, I'd rather just, you know, the movie let me know what's happening and then I don't have to watch the nakedness. You know, that doesn't, it doesn't exactly do anything for me. So, yeah, the dialogue was great. The acting was great. Kate Blanchett was super great. You know, I love Kate Blanchett. So, um, yeah, they sold their roles. I felt transported. I think this was like a journaling thing from Rosa. I just wrote on the back because it's too dark to write on the tulip part. Um, The last movie for this video was Cinderella. It came out in 2021. This was the musical one. Two cringe face, two eye roll. I did not like this movie. Um, it didn't bother me that it was a musical. I like musicals, and they certainly have their place and time. Um, it bothered me that they didn't come up with any original songs or didn't at least stick to more classic Cinderella songs, you know? Instead, they just took modern songs, mashed them together. They also took different genres of modern songs and mashed them together, and it just felt sloppy and it felt lazy. You know, I didn't feel like there was any creativeness to the movie. Um, in in general, it just felt pretty absurd to me. So, I did not enjoy this movie. And I wrote that, apparently. I felt the stepmother and sisters weren't portrayed as evil as in all other versions, which made the characters lukewarm. Yeah, they weren't very evil. The villains weren't very villainous in this. This was a journaling card that came out of Craftsmith pad. Um, Maybe Warm Luxury. I don't remember what the pad. This was a scratcher that I got from someone I didn't know while I worked at the post office. And oh, I forgot this movie. So I guess one more. Under the Tuscan Sun, which came out in 2003. Zero cringe face, zero eye roll. This movie was pretty simple, but I liked it. Would I watch it again? Yeah. I the ending left something to be desired for me. I wanted to know what happened to the main character in the end because it leaves it very much in the up in the air. And I get that they want you to come up with your own conclusions, but I'm watching the movie so that you can tell me a story, not so that I can make up my own story. You know what I mean? Um, Whether that's the correct way to think, I don't know. It's just my way of thinking. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Adios.